What is up, everybody, and welcome to FLW Videos. In today's episode, we are going to be talking about the currently unreleased Pokemon known as Darkrai in Pokemon Go. As far as its potential is concerned, we'll take a look at its stats, its current movesets that it has loaded into the game, and then see just how good this Pokemon could potentially be. But don't worry, if we end up seeing some type of update specifically related to the moveset, I will be covering it on the Deep Dive series. But why are we talking about Darkrai now? I honestly think that we are going to be seeing this Pokemon very soon in Pokemon Go. We have also seen a couple of updates, but first things first. Darkrai is a mythical Pokemon, and the way that we typically see mythicals being introduced into the game is really from two different ways. Number one is from the special research. We've seen Pokemon like Mew, Celebi, and then Jirachi. And the biggest downfall to these types of Pokemon being released that way is that we can only get one of those Pokemon. Then there is the flip side of it with a Pokemon like Deoxys, for example, that got released into the raid system, and what that means is we can actually have multiple of that Pokemon. And we ended up seeing an update actually to Darkrai where its status of being transferable got updated to a yes, which means it's going to fall in on the raid side. That's very good news for us because this Pokemon is a beast as far as its stats are concerned, and the potential is very high. So I'm very excited about that. So that kind of led into the second question. Well, would it be released on the EX raid side, or would it be released out into the public on just the regular raids? Well, we kind of have an answer to that because Mewtwo with Shadow Ball got announced as the next EX raid boss. Who knows for how long that's going to end up being, and I honestly think that that kind of pushes Darkrai into just the raid side being released publicly, and then we've got Halloween coming up. This Pokemon just seems destined to be released in raids, so I honestly think a lot of people are interested in this topic, and then of course seeing how good this Pokemon is going to be. So anyways, I personally think that it is going to be coming out very soon, and who knows, maybe in a couple of weeks you can come back to this video and let me know, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're right, or you can tell me how wrong I am. Regardless of that, if you do enjoy this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. Let's go ahead and jump into it. We've got Darkrai with a max CP of 3,739. It is a pure dark type Pokemon, and as far as that is concerned, because Darkrai is a mythical, I decided to leave it with the dark type background. I think it's going to follow suit to what the Deoxys forms did, where you can catch multiple of them, you just can't trade them. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to get a lucky if it follows what happened with Deoxys. But hey, I guess Niantic wants to distinguish the mythical some way, somehow in this case, since it is unique. But as far as its stats are concerned, its best stat is that attack stat at 285, ranked at 12th in Pokemon Go, so that is insanely good because this includes the Generation 5 Pokemon. And then as far as its worst stat is concerned, we got the stamina stat of 172. It's got a really low rank, so this Pokemon's going to definitely fit the kind of glass cannon definition, but it still maintains an overall ranking of 50th in Pokemon Go, so definitely some good results as far as that is concerned. Up next, we have the moveset. Now keep in mind, this is what is currently loaded into the game, so it could end up being changed once it gets released. We've got Snarl, Feint Attack, and then Shadow Ball, and then Dark Pulse. Now the reason why I'm pointing out the Ghost type move as well as the Dark type, because I think a lot of people are going to sleep on Darkrai and only focus on it from the Dark typing, but I think it possesses some major potential from the Ghost typing with that move Shadow Ball. And to be honest, I think it's going to kind of fit what ended up happening with Mewtwo, where yes, it is the #1 Psychic type attacker, but at the same time though, with that moveset of Shadow Ball, it all of a sudden introduces it as a Ghost type attacker. I think Darkrai is going to follow a very similar situation to his, so we're going to take a look at some results as far as both of them are concerned. So first, we're going to focus on the Dark typing, and specifically focusing on the DPS to the 3rd times TDO. Now these numbers are going to be the best indicator before it gets applied into a raid. So you're definitely going to have to consider what Pokemon are you going up against as far as its stats are concerned, and then secondarily its typing is concerned, and then thirdly, what about its moveset? So there's a lot of factors. This is going to be the best results unapplied. That's the best way to kind of express that. But as far as the stats are concerned, Darkrai takes over the #1 spot with Snarl and then Dark Pulse. And check this out, so that's some solid results compared to that #2 spot. So it's like up 300 plus compared to it, where we've got Hydreigon in at that #2 spot, and then we've got Tyranitar in at #3. So just to kind of give you some reference, the fact that Darkrai is able to kind of take over these Pokemon is definitely some good results from that dark typing. So definitely excited about that. Hopefully it will end up being number 1, but like I said, we will have to wait until we can apply it to some of the raid bosses. But secondarily, why not go ahead and take a look at it from that Shadow Ball perspective? Now keep in mind, this is just raw DPS, so some of these movesets wouldn't necessarily make a lot of sense. If you are going up against something that Ghost type would be super effective, like for example Fire Spin, you'd probably want to go with Hex, for example, but we're talking about DPS times TDO just to kind of give you a ballpark as to how it can perform. So yeah, you've got Mewtwo into that number 1 spot. We kind of talked about that. We've got that Giratina Origin form doing very solid. But then we've got Darkrai. So Darkrai is actually in at that 4th position with Snarl and then Shadow Ball. That is very interesting to kind of consider. Like I said, it isn't necessarily going to be the best from that Ghost typing, but because it does have access to Shadow Ball, and because it does have such an amazing set of stats, I honestly think Darkrai could be very solid in that way. So we've completely covered Darkrai in Pokemon Go. Hopefully you are excited about it. I think it possesses some major potential, and it's very important to kind of talk about now, just so when it gets released, you are going to be ready and you are going to know this Pokemon is going to be insanely good, as long as, cross your fingers, the moveset does not change. But anyways, I want to know what you think about Darkrai in the comment section below. Are you excited about it? Let me know just how excited you are. Hopefully you did enjoy this video, and I will see you next time. If you want to develop a deeper connection, I would highly recommend you to check out Patreon. We've got a lot of really cool things going on over there. Check out all of these supporters that we have. We are almost up to 100. We are also posting some special content, some behind the scenes work. And if that is the type of thing that interests you, I would highly recommend you to check it out.